Okay, this is the Tokarev m57 762 by 25. I'm going to show you how to completely take it apart and then also put it completely back together if anybody's having any problems dismantling this gun, cleaning it, etc. First thing you got to do is there's a little tab right here. Go ahead and pull this back. After that's pulled back, you just push in on that pin. Once that pin's pushed out, go ahead and just pull the rest of it out here. Set that off to the side. Once that is taken out, your slide will just come right off like that. Once your slide is off, go ahead and set the rest of the gun down. Just go ahead and push in on your spring. Spring will come out. You'll notice that this actually pivots. You want to make sure that you have that facing down whenever you're getting ready to put that back in, or you will have a heck of a time getting it back out. Once that's out, there's your spring. Once that's out, go ahead and take this, swivel it 180 degrees. That'll pull right out. Breaks down a lot like a 1911. Once that's out, barrel will come right out the front. Then you go ahead and you can clean any part of it. Also clean your barrel. If you're shooting a lot of corrosive ammo, I suggest clean that barrel immediately, mostly as soon as possible. That is completely torn down. Now, take your magazine out. Well, let's do this first. Hammer assembly, pulls right out, stays all in one piece. Magazine out, nothing in it. Once that's out, you have a grip on each side. They have like a locking thing, which I'll show you once I take this out. But basically, I mean, anything can usually pivot those around. Swiss Army knife, and basically anything you can use to. But you want to look down in here. Once you look down, you'll see that it's basically just pivots and holds on right onto the frame of the gun. Once you have one of them off, put your pinky in there. Oh, let's not be out the whole way. There. Once it's out, like I said, put your pinky in there. You can pretty much just push it right out of the way. I don't know how well you can see this, but it basically just pivots. You just get something in there. That thing swivels and it locks right into the frame of your gun. Once that one's out, it's easy to get the next one out. I mean, like I said, either one of these grips is, you put it on, once you take one off, you'll be able to see the other side. It's easy to take off then. You pivot the other one. Okay, so you broke down basically to the whole frame of the gun. If you would happen to have to take the trigger out, that's pretty easy as well. You can just pretty much get your fingernail right on it here, pull down on it. Once it's started to pull down, just kind of pull your trigger a little bit, and there you go. That's your trigger. Once your trigger's out, the only thing left on it is a little spring, which interlocks to the back of the hand guard here, the hand frame or whatever. Has your little spring there, and you are completely torn down. And then do everything opposite. Puts it right back together. Go ahead, put your spring in here. There's the back of the frame here. There's like a little, I don't know how to really describe it. It's like a little notch. And you'll see on this spring here, it locks right onto that. Onto that. Pull it up here. You'll be able to feel the tension on it. Go ahead and stick your trigger back up in. There. Trigger's back in. Basically simple. I mean, if I had to tear this gun down, I could probably tear this gun down in about a minute, have it put back together in about a minute. Once you get familiar with the gun, it's really easy. Go ahead then, put your grips back on. Once it's back on there, slide tab back on, give it a little push, make sure it's going to stay on there. You'll see that there's like a little loop here on this side. Make sure that's the same thing here. So basically the best way to know if you have the grip on the right side. Make sure your tab the whole way over, give it a little test, make sure it's going to stay on. And, your hammer assembly, put it right back on like this. Okay, set that down for a second. Same thing with your barrel. Put your barrel back in. Once your barrel's in, spin that back where it belongs. Like I was saying about this spring, set this down for a second. Like I was saying about this spring, see how it pivots up? It won't pivot back the other way. Make sure when you put it in that it's going to pivot down. So you put it in, pushing your spring a little bit, pops back down into place. Make sure everything's lined up right. Okay, then slide it back on. Once it's on like that, you'll see a little hole here. If you look the whole way through it, you actually see the loop, or that little hole on that. Make sure those line up. So, put it back in like this. Sometimes you have to put, while you're pushing on that, just work your action a little bit. It'll slide right down. Once it's slid down, go ahead and lock that back into place. Rack it a couple times, make sure everything's functioning well. None of this, nothing in here, nothing in there. The trigger will not go off. There's a little tab in here that the clip actually pushes off, so the trigger will go off. Once that's pushed in, it will fire. That is the Tokarev 7.62x25 m57 tear down and put back together. Basically, one of the easiest guns I've probably ever torn down.